Welcome to our final deep dive in this series. Exploring how businesses navigate these external influences.
It's hard to believe it's the final one already.
I know, right?
But this one's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, switching gears a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like a fictional case study.
It's kind of cool, actually. It weaves together all the themes we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's all in there.
Technology, ethics,
Yeah, this whole shebang.
globalization, all that. And I think it's going to be a fun way to kind of bring it all together.
Yeah, nice little bow on top.
Yeah. So we're going to be exploring the journey of Sienna Brooks.
Oh, I love her story.
Yeah. She's an environmental scientist turned entrepreneur.
It's such an interesting journey.
It is. She founded SustainCo, a company that specializes in sustainable packaging. And, one thing that I think is really interesting is that she started as a scientist, not a business person. What do you think prompted that leap from the lab to, the world of entrepreneurship?
Well, Sienna, she witnessed firsthand really the devastating environmental impact of traditional packaging. Think mountains of plastic waste,
Well, yeah.
overflowing landfills, polluted oceans.
It's a problem.
It's a huge problem, yeah. And she saw a gap in the market for truly eco-friendly packaging.
Yeah.
And she just realized, you know what? My scientific background, this could be the foundation for a business that aligns with my values.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So it sounds like she saw this opportunity to kind of turn her passion into action.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is awesome. But, her background's in science, not in,
Not in business, not in marketing, not in finance.
Yeah, exactly. So how did she actually, turn that passion into a successful business?
So that's where technology really plays a pivotal role.
Okay.
She understood the power of e-commerce to reach a wider audience.
Okay.
And she launched SustainCo's website. Made it super easy for businesses to browse and order different sustainable packaging options. Yeah, totally. But then she took it a step further. She really leveraged social media,
Which ones?
specifically Instagram, to tell SustainCo's story. So not just what they were selling,
Right.
but the why behind it. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, the mission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The mission. She would post behind-the-scenes glimpses of the production process, sharing customer testimonials, and she would highlight the environmental benefits of her products.
So, building that brand personality.
Yes, exactly.
Not just a catalog.
Totally. Transparency, storytelling, that became the cornerstones of SustainCo's brand.
And I think, that authenticity really resonates with consumers today.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it feels real.
Yeah, people can smell a fake from a mile away these days.
Yeah. They can. Right. Okay, so she's building this brand personality. But she's also embracing cutting-edge technology in other areas.
Oh, yeah, she's all about it. Remember, that 200/47 AI chatbot we discussed?
Oh, yeah.
She implemented that.
For what?
For instant customer support. No matter what time zone you're in, you can get help.
Oh, that's great, especially for a small business starting out.
Totally. It creates a really seamless customer experience,
Uh-huh.
and it frees up Sienna's time so she can focus on, all the other million things she has to do.
Right, because it's just her, right. I mean, at this point, it's a small business, so that's a really smart move. But, technology wasn't the only factor. She was also really committed to ethical sourcing and fair wages.
Oh, absolutely. Rock solid on those.
How so?
Well, she insisted on using only recycled and biodegradable materials,
Okay.
even though they were more expensive than the traditional packaging options.
Right.
And then on top of that, she made sure all her employees were paid a living wage. She provided healthcare benefits,
Wow.
opportunities for professional development. She really walked the walk.
Yeah, that's really impressive. But I'm curious, that commitment to ethics, it comes with a price tag. How did she balance those higher costs with the need to stay competitive in the market?
Yeah.
Because you got to be competitive, right?
Right. So she faced this classic dilemma. Does she compromise her values to cut costs? Or does she stay true to her principles and risk maybe being priced out of the market?
Yeah, it's a tough choice.
It is a tough choice. But she chose the latter. She chose her principles.
Good for her.
Yeah. And instead of cutting corners, she decided, you know what? I'm going to educate my customers
About
about the true cost of sustainability. She was transparent about her pricing, explained how those higher costs reflected the ethical and environmental values that were baked into her products.
So she basically turned a potential weakness into like a selling point.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Did that transparency resonate with her customers? Did they too?
Good. They absolutely did. Customers, they were willing to pay a premium
Right.
for products that actually aligned with their values.
Wow.
They appreciated her honesty, her commitment to doing things the right way.
So it built trust.
It built tremendous trust and loyalty, and that contributed significantly to SustainCo's growth.
That's amazing. It's like a really powerful example of how doing good can be good for business.
Absolutely. It's not just a feel-good story. It makes business sense.
Yeah. But, the business world, it's rarely smooth sailing.
Oh, tell me about it.
How did SustainCo weather, like, the inevitable economic storms? Because they're coming.
Oh, they always come.
Yeah.
SustainCo was not immune, just like any other business. Rising interest rates, inflation, those presented significant challenges. And Sienna had to get creative, She had to adapt.
Yeah.
Well, first she renegotiated contracts with her suppliers.
Okay, trying to get those costs down.
Yep. Then she explored government grants, specifically for sustainable businesses.
Well,
And she even, introduced new, smaller product sizes
okay.
to cater to people who were a little more budget conscious.
So she found ways to, cut costs without compromising her core values.
Exactly. She wasn't going to sacrifice those.
That's impressive. That's not easy to do.
It really is a testament to her resilience, her
Yeah.
ability to adapt, to be flexible.
And, she didn't just focus on her own bottom line either, right? Didn't she also find ways to, support her community during these kind of tough times?
She did. So when local unemployment rates started to rise, Sienna partnered with some job training programs
Oh, that's great.
to offer apprenticeships at SustainCo. So, creating opportunities for people who really needed them.
Wow. That's a great example of how, a business leader can think beyond just profit margins.
Yeah, she really saw the interconnectedness of business and community. Successful business can also be a force for good.
Like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly.
Okay. So SustainCo's early success was largely driven by its online presence.
Right, that's how they started.
Yeah. But I imagine expanding internationally presented, a whole new set of challenges.
Absolutely. It's a whole different ballgame.
Right. So how did Sienna navigate the complexities of, going global?
It's not just about translating a website.
Right.
It's a lot more complicated.
So much more. She had to consider things like currency fluctuation,
Yeah, of course.
cultural nuances,
Uh-huh.
logistical hurdles. Oh, and then, of course, you've got to stand out.
Right. How do you differentiate yourself?
Especially in a global market that was, rapidly getting crowded with all these sustainable packaging options.
You're right. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon.
Exactly. So one of her key strategies, product innovation,
What does she do?
she introduced custom designs.
Okay.
So businesses could personalize their packaging
Oh, with their own branding.
with their logo, their message, catered to this growing demand for, unique, eye-catching packaging.
So she's turning packaging into a marketing tool.
Exactly. Not just a functional necessity.
Brilliant.
But she also didn't forget about customer service. SustainCo built a reputation for being incredibly responsive,
Okay.
flexible, willing to go the extra mile for clients.
That's huge.
Yeah. They offered expedited shipping options,
Okay.
personalized consultations.
And they readily adapted to meet any specific customer needs.
Sounds like they created a really customer-centric culture,
Oh, absolutely. Essential for building loyalty and trust.
especially in a global market, right?
Yeah.
Where you're dealing with all these different cultures and expectations.
Absolutely. Sienna knew that building those strong customer relationships was key, but she also recognized the importance of partnerships.
Oh, like strategic partnership?
Yes. She collaborated with international shipping companies that specialized in sustainable logistics.
Makes sense.
So her products could be delivered efficiently, but with minimal environmental impact.
So she's kind of outsourcing that part of the business to people who are experts.
Exactly. Let the experts handle it.
Yeah.
She focuses on what she does best, designing and producing the innovative packaging.
That's smart. And it makes her company more sustainable overall.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, totally. But, Sienna also realized that global expansion requires more than just, an online presence.
Right. You need boots on the ground.
Yeah. Remember that production facility she set up in Poland?
Oh,
I
yeah.
was curious about that. What factors led to that decision?
Well, there were a few. First, It allowed SustainCo to reduce transportation costs,
Okay.
minimize its carbon footprint
Uh-huh.
by producing goods closer to its European customers.
So good for the environment and good for business.
Exactly. Two birds, one stone. And then second, Poland is very centrally located in Europe,
Yeah.
so easy access to a large network of potential clients.
Yeah. Smart. Smart. So it seems like she was really meticulously planning every step of this expansion.
She was very strategic.
But as the company grew, I imagine legal compliance became increasingly complex.
Oh, yeah. The bigger you get, the more regulations you got to deal with.
Right.
So as SustainCo expanded, more employees, more operations. Sienna, she was on top of it, made sure the company was adhering to all relevant labor laws,
Okay, like what kind of stuff?
paying fair wages, safe working conditions, benefits that actually exceeded industry standards.
Wow, so she wasn't just like meeting the minimum requirements.
Oh, no, she was going above and beyond. She also made sure SustainCo was complying with all the consumer protection laws.
So like product safety, transparency and labeling, all of that?
All of that. Ethical marketing practices. The whole 9 yards.
She built a company with integrity, not just one focused on profits.
Exactly. And she recognized that legal compliance wasn't just about avoiding penalties. It was about building a sustainable and responsible business that could really thrive in the long term.
That's a great lesson for any entrepreneur, right? It's not just about making money. It's about doing things the right way.
It's about the bigger picture.
Yeah. But even with all that, even with those ethical practices and the commitment to legal compliance, SustainCo was still operating in a really competitive market.
Yeah, it's a tough industry.
Right. So how did she stay ahead of the curve? How did she make sure that they weren't just like, falling behind?
Well, she had a few tricks up her sleeve. In addition to those custom designs and exceptional customer service we talked about, she never stopped emphasizing sustainability.
Okay, like in her marketing materials.
Everywhere, in her branding, her marketing, her content. She partnered with influencers who shared her values, participated in industry events focused on sustainable practices, and regularly published content highlighting the environmental benefits of her products.
So she was really actively shaping the narrative around sustainable packaging.
Exactly. Positioning SustainCo as a leader in the field.
That's really smart. It's like she understood that in a world that's so saturated with marketing messages.
It's overwhelming.
It is.
Yeah.
Authenticity and transparency are key, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how you capture people's attention.
Absolutely. People are craving that authenticity.
Yeah, they want to believe in something.
And it's also about building trust.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great example of how a strong brand story can really set you apart.
It's not just about the product anymore.
It's the whole package, right? Literally and figuratively. But she also recognized that to stay ahead, you got to innovate.
Constant innovation.
What'd she do?
Well, she invested heavily in research and development, explored new materials, experimented with different production techniques, always seeking ways to improve the functionality and sustainability of her products.
So she wasn't content to just rest on her laurels.
Oh, no. Never settle.
Always pushing forward.
Yeah.
And that's crucial in any business, I think. But even with all that, the business world, it's unpredictable.
You never know what's going to happen next.
Exactly. How does she handle those inevitable challenges, those setbacks?
That's where the resilience comes in.
Okay.
Over the years, Sienna, she faced her share of obstacles.
Like what?
Economic downturns, supply chain disruptions, you name it. She even had to deal with some negative press from competitors.
Oh, really? Trying to undermine her, huh?
Oh, yeah, it gets nasty out there.
So how did she handle those tough moments? What kept her going when things were looking rough?
Her belief in her mission never wavered. Her commitment to her values, that was rock solid. And she was always willing to learn and adapt. She saw every challenge as an opportunity for growth.
So it wasn't like, woe is me. It was like, okay, what can I learn from this?
Exactly. How can I emerge from this stronger?
That's a really healthy mindset.
It is. And it's essential for any entrepreneur who wants to build a business that can withstand the test of time.
So after 5 years, where does SustainCo stand today?
It's come a long way. From a small startup.
Started in her garage, right?
Yeah, the classic entrepreneur story.
That's a good one. So where is it now?
It's a thriving international company.
Wow.
With a reputation for quality, innovation, and, of course, ethical practices.
That's fantastic.
It's become a real leader in the sustainable packaging industry. And I think it's inspiring other businesses to follow suit, to embrace more environmentally responsible practices.
It's like a ripple effect, right? And it all started with one person with a vision.
It really is a testament to her vision, her tenacity, her unwavering commitment to making a positive impact.
It's an incredible story. It really is.
It is. It proves that business can be a force for good,
Yeah,
a way to create a better future for everyone.
absolutely. So as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive into Sienna's story, and I know we have a lot more to
Yeah,
discuss.
we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, we have 2 more parts to go. But before we move on, what are some of the key takeaways you think our listeners should be thinking about? Like, what can we all learn from Sienna's journey, even if we're not running a business?
One of the biggest lessons for me is the power of aligning your work with your values. Like Sienna's passion for the environment that was her fuel. It guided her every step of the way.
Uh,
And she proved that you don't have to compromise your principles to succeed.
hmm
In fact, those principles can be your greatest asset.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
It's a reminder that we can all make a difference, no matter what our role is, by making choices that reflect our values.
Yeah, like what kind of choices?
Choosing eco-friendly products, supporting businesses that are doing good things, reducing our own consumption, it all adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about individual choices either,
Mm.
right? It's also about advocating for systemic change.
You got it. Speak up. Use your voice to support policies that promote sustainability and hold businesses accountable.
Right. It's about using our collective power to create a world where business and sustainability go hand in hand.
That's the dream, isn't it?
It is a pretty good dream. I think Sienna's well on her way to making it a reality.
Mm.
But we'll delve deeper into all of that in our next 2 parts.
We've got lots more to unpack.
So stay tuned. It really is inspiring to see how she was able to, like, weave her values into every aspect of the business.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a marketing ploy or anything.
It felt genuine.
Totally.
Yeah.
It makes you think about all those other businesses out there,
Yeah.
struggling to balance profit and purpose, wondering if it's even possible.
Right, because it's always presented as this, like, eater thing.
Right, like you have to choose. But Sienna, she proved you can be both successful and ethical.
Yeah. What was the, like, most impressive part of how she pulled that off for you?
I think it was her unwavering commitment to those ethical practices.
Okay.
Even when things got tough economically, it would have been so easy to
Good corners.
exactly, switch to cheaper materials, lower wages when inflation hit. But she didn't.
She held strong.
Yep. She held firm to her beliefs and found creative ways to adapt without compromising.
It really speaks to her character, I think.
Totally. You don't see that kind of integrity too often in the business world.
No, not always. But it's like a powerful reminder that staying true to your principles, it can be a competitive advantage.
100%. Consumers, they're getting smarter,
Cool way.
They want to support businesses that align with their values.
And they're willing to pay for it.
Exactly. And Sienna tapped into that.
Yeah. She was smart.
Built a loyal customer base because of it.
It's like she was playing the long game,
She was.
building that trust.
Yeah. Rather than just chasing short-term profits. It's a good lesson for all of us.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think it's a model that, like, other businesses can replicate?
I think so, yeah. It provides a roadmap, a set of principles,
Yeah.
sustainability, ethics, innovation, resilience. You can tailor those to your specific business,
Yeah.
your industry.
So it's about finding that, like, sweet spot where profit and purpose intersect.
Exactly. But let's be real,
Yeah.
not every business is starting from scratch like SustainCo.
Right, they already exist.
They might be hesitant to make big changes.
Especially it's going to cost them money.
Right. So for those businesses, what advice would you give? Like, they want to be more sustainable, but they're worried about the bottom line. I get it. It's a valid concern. But think of sustainability as a journey.
Okay.
Not a destination. You don't have to do everything at once.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Start small. Identify areas where you can make the biggest impact with the least disruption. Maybe it's switching to energy-efficient lighting, reducing waste in your production process, sourcing materials locally. Those small steps, they add up, and they show your commitment.
Yeah, it shows you're serious about it.
Exactly, without breaking the bank.
Right. Got to keep the lights on.
Exactly. And once you start seeing the benefits, reduced costs, happier employees, more loyal customers, then it's easier to justify further investments.
Yeah, it builds momentum.
Exactly. It's a win-win. And remember, consumers are increasingly willing to pay more for sustainable products.
That's true. I know I am.
So by embracing sustainability, you're not just doing good.
You're attracting a whole new customer base.
Exactly. It's good for business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But sustainability, it's just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
We also have to talk about technology, globalization, navigating economic uncertainty. Sienna had to deal with all of that.
Oh, yeah, she did it all.
So what other takeaways can our listeners, what can they glean from her journey?
One big lesson is that technology can actually help your sustainability efforts.
Really?
Think about it. Sienna used e-commerce to reach a wider audience, social media to tell her brand story, and AI to streamline operations. So those choices made her business more efficient, more profitable,
Okay.
and they also helped her reduce her environmental impact.
That's cool. It's like technology is often seen as the enemy of sustainability.
Yeah, this big bad force.
It could be a tool for good.
It's all about how you use it.
Right. Okay, so technology. What about globalization? What does she do well there?
She was very strategic, you
Yeah.
know? She didn't just jump into new markets. She considered the culture, the logistics, the environmental impact.
Right, like that production facility in Poland.
Exactly. That was a smart move.
It was.
Reduced transportation costs, minimized her carbon footprint, ensured compliance with European regulations.
Yeah, she thought of everything.
She really did. And then, of course, there's her resilience in the face of economic uncertainty.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Rising interest rates, inflation, supply chain disruptions. She handled it all.
How? What was her secret?
She adapted, she innovated, she never lost sight of her values. And she showed us that even in tough times, there are always opportunities
For growth.
for innovation.
Yeah. It's a reminder that we can't control everything that happens,
Right. The world is unpredictable.
but we can control how we respond.
100%. And sometimes those challenges lead to breakthroughs.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. So as we reflect on Sienna's journey, what's like the one big thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
I think the most important thing is that we all have the power to make a difference.
Okay.
Whether you're running a business, working for a company, or just making choices as a consumer, we can all contribute to a more sustainable, equitable, and just world.
By aligning our actions with our values?
Exactly. And using our voices
Yeah.
to advocate for change.
It's about making conscious choices, right?
Yes. Every choice we make, every dollar we spend, every conversation we have, it all has an impact.
So let's all commit to making those choices that align with our values.
And speak up for what we believe in.
Yeah. Use our talents, our resources to make the world a better place.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Sienna's story, it highlights something crucial that we often forget. The power of optimism.
Oh, yeah. She was always so positive.
She never let cynicism or despair win. She chose to believe that a better future was possible.
And she made it happen.
Exactly. And that's what fueled her success.
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in all the negativity.
Especially these days.
Yeah. But Sienna's story, it reminds us that hope is essential.
It's what drives us forward. It's what allows us to see possibilities.
So let's all channel our inner Sienna Brooks, right?
Let's do it.
Embrace that optimism as we work towards a more sustainable and just world.
Love it. Let's go make it happen.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into Sienna's inspiring journey,
I know. I can't believe it's already over.
time flies when you're having fun, right?
It really does. But before we say goodbye,
Yeah.
we want to give a huge shout out to Google Notebook LM
Yes?
for the amazing AI assistance and audio dialogue that made this series possible.
We couldn't have done it without you.
Seriously. And of course, to you, our incredible listeners.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration
We hope you've enjoyed it.
and that you've learned something along the way.
Absolutely. Keep diving deep, keep questioning, and keep striving to make a difference.
This deep dive was a PLC strategy production. Until next time. It's been an incredible journey. Really has, exploring all these different facets of the business world.
It's amazing how much we've covered.
I know, right? Like from technology to globalization, the challenges of the economy, ethical decision-making.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is. But through it all, we've seen how businesses can be a force for good, right?
Yeah, driving innovation, creating jobs.
And even addressing some of those big global challenges.
It's pretty inspiring.
It is. And Sienna's story is a powerful example of that. Like, it really proves that success doesn't have to come at the expense of, people or the planet.
Exactly. And actually, it's often those businesses that put sustainability and ethics first that end up achieving the most success.
Yeah, the ones with those strong values.
Yeah. And for me, the most powerful part of Sienna's story, it was her optimism.
Yeah, she never gave up.
Even when things were tough, she never lost sight of her vision. That belief in her mission, That's what fueled her.
That's so important. Easy to get, like, bogged down in all the negativity.
Oh, absolutely, especially these days.
Yeah. But Sienna's story, it shows us we can choose to focus on the positive
Right. Believe in our ability to make a difference.
and use that energy to create the kind of world we want to see.
It's not naive to be hopeful.
It's necessary.
Exactly. Hope is what drives us.
So as we wrap up, I want to challenge our listeners. Embrace that optimism.
Yeah. I love
Either
that.
dream big, set those goals, and believe in your power to make a difference.
It all starts with belief.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Find those people who share your values.
Your tribe.
Yes, exactly. Who inspire you, who support you.
Surround yourself with good people.
Yeah. Because we can achieve so much more when we work together.
Collaboration is key.
Right. Share ideas, support each other, and don't underestimate the power of, like, the small things.
Those little everyday actions.
Yeah, they all add up. Every choice, every dollar we spend, every conversation.
It all ripples outwards.
Exactly. So let's commit to making those conscious choices.
The ones that align with our values.
Yes. Let's speak up for what we believe in and use our unique talents and resources to make a difference.
We all have something to offer.
Absolutely. And let's never stop learning.
Keep growing.
Keep exploring, keep challenging ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that journey of, like, personal and professional development, it never really ends.
There's always something new to learn.
Always. So to our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us.
We've had such a great time exploring this with you.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey.
And that you feel inspired to make a difference.
Remember, the future is not something that just happens to us.
We create it.
So let's go out there and create a future we can all be proud of.
Absolutely. And a huge thank you to Google Notebook LM for the amazing AI assistance and audio dialogue that made this series possible.
Yes, thank you so much.
And to our amazing production team, you guys are the best.
And to you, our listeners, thank you for being part of this. Keep diving deep, keep questioning, keep striving to make the world a better place. This deep dive was a PLC strategy production. Until next time.